Hey guys, today I'm filming my Hit It or Quit It Thoughts on Hauls number 70. If you guys have never seen one of these videos from me before, I'll have my playlist linked down below. And basically, I'm going to be reviewing all the products that I featured in a haul 1 year ago to let you know my current thoughts on those products. I will have all of them listed down below, and I will link my original haul video. And this was a super exciting haul because this is my very first Ulta 4,000 points haul. So I suggest saving your Ulta points and using them in increments of 2,000 or 4,000 because that's when they will be at their highest value. 2,000 points is worth $125 worth of free makeup, and 4,000 points equals $250 of free makeup. I also had some gift cards that I used with this order, and I did wait until I had a 20% off coupon. That is absolutely what I recommend when you guys buy things with your points to be able to get the most for your money. Save them until you get a 20% off your entire purchase coupon. So that is what I did, and I got a lot of really awesome high-end stuff here. There's only two drugstore products. So we are just going to jump right in. So the first 3 things I purchased would be complexion products from one of my favorite complexion brands, and that would be Estee Lauder. So if you guys don't know, I actually worked at an Estee Lauder counter for a couple months a few years back, and it was a super fun experience. But Estee Lauder is not the most exciting brand. They don't come out with the most trendy products, but they have some classic staples, and they really know how to do foundation and concealer, at least for what I love, which is full coverage. And Estee Lauder has an amazing shade range. So let me show you the products that I had purchased. So the first was the Estee Lauder Double Wear Maximum Cover Foundation, and this is your fullest coverage maximum cover, which is what they say, foundation. And this does not have the biggest shade range. They did add a few more colors, which is good. The one that I got is 1-in-1 Ivory Nude, which actually is a pretty good match for me. It could be a little bit more yellow, but I think it works really well. I'm wearing this one as my foundation today. I tried to wear as many of these products as possible. And I actually had purchased this because Emily Noel used this when she was pregnant with Belle. Oh my gosh, that was such a long time ago. Ooh. And Emily had a lot of melasma because it was summertime, and then being pregnant, especially in this area under her eyes. And this covered it so well, and she did not look like a cake face, which I thought was so impressive. And this is incredible. I'm wearing this as my foundation today. I think my skin looks flawless. It has a lot of coverage, but it doesn't feel heavy, and I don't think it looks cakey. This does give a lot of coverage, but it is a bit more of a thin formula, which is nice. It's also super creamy. It's easy to blend out. So today I blended it out with a sponge, and that worked really well. And basically, you need to apply less of this foundation than you would of your typical foundation. That's the way to keep yourself from looking cakey. So I literally just do like a little squeeze here, a little squeeze here, and then I just start applying all over. By the time I got to my forehead, I actually didn't need to add any extra product. I just used what was left on the sponge. And especially because I don't have a lot of redness on my forehead, that worked perfectly for me. And again, you just need to make sure you go in with a little bit and add more if necessary. But I have a lot of redness on my cheeks. A lot of foundations don't cover it. So if I just use a little bit of this either over top of or underneath the foundation, covers up my redness perfectly. And this is a great all over foundation as well. Absolutely incredible. I'm truly in love with it. So it does apply nicely with a sponge, which is great, but it does also apply nicely with a brush. And I have a specific brush that I love with it, especially when I'm using this to just build up coverage on my cheeks. And the brush that I recommend is the Ulta Beauty Precision Foundation Brush. I think this is around $16, but the Ulta Beauty brushes go on sale quite often. So this is just like a really unique brush. It is dense, but also has a bit of movement to it. And literally I will just put a little foundation on my cheeks and then just like press it in and then tap around the edges to help it like blend into the rest of my face. An amazing brush with this foundation, but like I said, a sponge works well too. And this is not too thick and drying. Like I said, it's easy for me to apply to my face. It doesn't feel like I'm trying to like shellac paint or glue on. This is amazing if you want like the fullest of full coverage foundation. This would also be good as a spot concealer. Don't buy it for a spot concealer, but if you need to like cover up a blemish, or you've got hyperpigmentation, if you have any birthmarks on your face that you are trying to cover up, or this is body makeup too. So anyway, this is incredible, highly recommend. Then for a more everyday foundation, Estee Lauder Double Wear, the original one. My perfect shade is 1W1 Bone. It's nice and light, and it is warm enough for me. It's yellow enough for me, which is great. And the color of this is a smidge dark, but I can get away with this, and I do have other products I like to mix with it. But this gives great, I would say medium to full coverage. It's not as full as this, but this does give like a very perfected look. And it is my go-to foundation. It holds up well against my oily skin, lasts all day long. Holy grail. I will always have a bottle of this in my collection. Next, for the concealer I bought, it was the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Flawless Wear Concealer. I have the shade 1 in Extra Light Neutral. This is my perfect blemish concealer. It reminds me of MAC Pro Longwear, but it has better packaging because it has a doe foot applicator, and I think this is amazing on blemishes and under eyes. It does have a nice full coverage with like a satin finish. I tend to use it on my blemishes though. It does a great job. I feel like some other concealers, when I put them on my blemishes, it can like hide the redness of a blemish a little bit, but it doesn't cover it as much as I want. Like obviously you're still gonna see the raised texture, but I want the redness color to be completely gone. This does that, and it does not look too cakey. Holy grail. I will continue to repurchase that forever and ever. Next was one of the 2 drugstore things I purchased, and that would be the e.l.f. 16 Hour Camo Concealer, and I bought the shade Light Sand. Previously I had purchased the Fair Sand color. Way too pale for me, but if you're even fairer than me, or if you want a good shade that is yellow tone to use as a mixer, I think that would be great. But this is a better shade for me, but unfortunately it's a little bit too dark. So I do have to mix this with a white concealer. I have the ColourPop No Filter Concealer in the white shade, and those two mix really well together. This dries very quickly, I've noticed, so usually I will just like do a couple dots down the center of my face and then under my eyes, but by the time I go back up to my face, like my forehead, to blend it out, it is dried, it is looking splotchy, so I have to do the center of my face, blend it out, under eyes, blend it out. I have to move very quickly. This does also look cakey under my eyes. I know a lot of people love this and say this is a good dupe for Tarte Shape Tape. It gives great coverage like the Tarte, but the Tarte is easier for me to blend out and it looks better under my eyes. So I'm going to use this up. It's gonna take me a while, but I'm not gonna repurchase this. I honestly don't get the hype of this. I think it's good, but I don't mind paying the price for the Tarte Shape Tape, especially because it does go on sale at Ulta once or twice a year, and I always just stock up then. So a good product, but not amazing. I don't regret buying it though, because it was only a couple of dollars. Next thing was a bronzer. This is the Becca Sunlit bronzer in Capri Coast, which is the second lightest shade in the range. The first lightest shade is Bali Sands, I believe. I contemplated getting that one, but I just thought this would be a really beautiful shade that I could wear all year round. I am using this as my bronzer today. I really like it. I think it looks very beautiful. This bronzer does have a good amount of pigmentation, but I don't have to worry about it looking too intense and crazy on me. It does help with the bronzer brush I use, which is the e.l.f. stippling brush. It helps diffuse the product out so it's not too harsh on my fair skin. This does have a nice subtle sheen to it, which I think helps it blend easier, but it doesn't look shiny in my face. Really like this bronzer. I'm enjoying it. I need to use it a lot more. I've been focusing the past year and a half on some bronzers that I've been panning, so I haven't used this as much, but it's a really good product that I do recommend. Next, I had purchased a face palette. This is the Benefit Cheekleaders Bronze Squad. People were going crazy when this came out. And inside you have got Gold Rush and Coralista Blush. You have the Cookie Highlight, which was brand new in this palette. Then you've got Hoola Bronzer and Hoola Caramel, however you say it, bronzer. So the original Hoola I have in the full size, I already love. Coralista, I did get rid of my old blush, which they were different. The original Coralista looks more pink. The one in this palette looks more peach. This is my first time trying this blush and this highlight. This is an amazing face palette. Really expensive, but it's really good. They are full-size products. And I did wear this today. I used the Gold Rush blush, the cookie highlight, and then I used Hula Caramel as my contour color. So Benefit box blushes do all have a scent to them. And the scent of the Gold Rush blush I think is absolutely disgusting. I don't know what it is, but it drives me crazy. And this is a baked gelée blush like Rockateur, like California. And because it is that nude color, and maybe because of the formula in this palette, I really have to dig my brush in there. That's what I had to do today. I had to really dig my brush in there, and I put on 2 layers. And I'm very fair, so I don't think this would work really well for other people, unless maybe the formula is different than what it is in this palette. I think it's a beautiful color. It reminds me of MAC Warm Soul, which is one of my top 3 blushes of all time, but it is just, I hate that smell so much, just bleh. The cookie highlight, like I said, I'm wearing this today. I think it's incredible. I now own it in a single, and then I own their other shade Tickle in a single as well. The Benefit highlight formula is out of this world. It is very metallic, but it's so smooth on the skin. It doesn't emphasize texture too badly. I love it, love it, love it. I hope they come out with more shades, and it was super smart of Benefit to release those 2 highlighters in these face palettes, and then they did create like mini face palettes with the highlights in them. That way you had to buy a palette if you wanted those highlights, which was very smart of Benefit, but annoying because Benefit doesn't release products very often, and they don't release very fun products. But this face palette I think is awesome. I do love that you've got a peach blush, a nude blush, a beautiful champagne highlight, and 2 different bronzer colors. I really, really love this palette. Super happy that I have it. Don't regret it whatsoever. And I definitely could get more use out of it. I am happy I don't have too many face palettes. I love them. I think they're beautiful and they're fun, but I just don't reach them as much as I should. So out of the products in that palette, my favorite would definitely be the cookie highlight and the Benefit Hula bronzers. I think those are just incredible, and I'm so happy they finally released more shades. Now there are 4 shades in the range. Those are the 2nd and 3rd shades. They also have a Hula Light, and then they have 1 darker Hula bronzer, which is awesome. Of course, they could release more, but I'm happy that Benefit, you know, finally made more shades, because the original Hula has been around for forever. So I'm glad they made more shades. So it's something that everybody could enjoy, or at least most people can enjoy. I know they could definitely expand their shade range, but it's a really awesome formula. So definitely love that palette, and I don't regret buying it. And the last face product that I purchased was the MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus Matte Setting Spray. And I haven't used this in a little while because I've been painting setting sprays. When I used it today, it smelled kind of funny, but it might just be whatever powder is in there. It's not that old, so I'm not really worried about it expiring. This says 24 months, so we are totally good to go. I love the MAC Fix Plus bottles because they spray so nicely, and this is a nice mattifying setting spray. I have told you guys a million times before, I'm not convinced by setting sprays, but yet I continue to buy them. I do have a couple other mattifying setting sprays in my collection, so I do want to kind of use them all back to back so I can see what I think works the best. But I can tell you that I do really enjoy this one, and it's something that I would probably repurchase in the future if I got it for a good price. Definitely recommend this. It is a really, really nice setting spray. So for eyeshadow, I bought 1 expensive single shadow and a palette. For my expensive single shadow, that would be Dose of Colors Block Party Eyeshadow in Encore. I'm wearing this on my lids today. I bought this shade because Kathleen Lights raved about it as a really nice, like warm orangey brown with some gold glitter. This is very expensive, and I like it. I don't reach for it very often. The packaging of this is hard to open, and it's just been okay. However, I really was happy with the way I applied it today. I think it looked really nice. So basically, I just used a cream shadow stick on my lid, and then I applied it with this brush, which is the Morphe M421, which is a really skinny, flat, synthetic lid brush. And I really just kind of like went back and forth, kind of dug around in the shadow and pressed it on my lid, and it did a great job. Then after I finished my transition crease color, I picked up some more on my finger and then tapped it on my lid, and that worked really well too. I think this is a really pretty color. I think it looks nice on the eye, but honestly, I don't think that this is that incredible. It could be because of the shade, but it's not that amazing. And I don't regret buying this, but for an expensive single shadow like this, I would rather buy the Tarte Chrome Paint shadow pots. I have a few more on my wish list that I do definitely plan on purchasing next time I have enough points for a 4,000 points haul, which will be that will be a while from now. But I plan on picking up a few more of those shades that I like. Those actually look a lot more metallic on the eye. They're easier to apply. They're just more impressive to me. They come with more product. So this is fine, but I don't regret buying it a lot, but I do a little bit because I really haven't reached for it that much. Very pretty, but I think I can get a similar look with other shadows. So, not as in love as I thought I would be. And I think these were just really hyped at that time. I think they were relatively new. Same thing with the palette that I purchased, which is the Anastasia Riviera palette. So again, I bought this soon after it released and people were making lots of tutorials, people were enjoying it, and then literally like, this was popular for like a month and then nobody talked about it ever again, except in eventually palettes I never used, palettes I regret buying, and then a lot of people started getting it in their Beautylish Lucky Bags, and it's popped up at TJ Maxx. And I honestly never used this, and I do regret buying this. I think that this was a waste of my points, which I'm super sad about. So this is what the palette looks like. I am wearing a little bit of this today. I am wearing just two of the matte shades, Estate and Coastline. So transition color, crease color. They're hella powdery like all Anastasia shadows are, but I haven't even used any of the, no I have. I've used this shade, this shimmer shade here, but I haven't used the rest of this. I just look at this and I'm mad at myself for buying it. I don't like that yellow color. I'm not gonna use that hot pink probably. I'm just like, Heather, why would you buy this? Like, you should have known this wasn't something you're really gonna use. I like that shimmery blue. I'm gonna try to get some use out of it this summer because I mean, I freaking have it. I got it with my points, so I don't want it to just sit there and go to waste, and I don't want to declutter it because that really would be a waste of points. I want to make myself use it, but every time I look at this, it just makes me sad because I'm like, what a freaking waste, Heather. Like, you should have been smarter. You should have thought about it more. So I really need to go back and watch people's tutorials with this palette to see if it re-inspires me. Please let me know your favorite color combos out of this palette down below. It just pisses me off looking at it. This was a total waste. I think I did a great job with the complexion things that I purchased, but I'm definitely the most let down by the shadows that I chose. And then I did purchase one lip product. This is the NARS Velvet Lip Glide and Roseland, which I'm wearing on my lips today. Love this formula. It is like a medium to full coverage gloss. It does have a very smooth finish and it's a little bit shiny, but as you can see right now, the shine has dulled down the more I've been talking, but it almost looks like I have like a cream finish lipstick on. Super smooth, and it doesn't dry my lips out too badly. I love the way that this looks. It's a super easy lip color to slap on. I love the shade of this one. I do have 3 colors in this formula. I also have Bound and Swing. And I was able to get those from TJ Maxx. I think that these aren't being discontinued, but they're not being sold everywhere, or at least some of the shades might be discontinued. So I don't know if you can still find this at TJ Maxx, but if you can, I really recommend you pick it up. This is one of my top 3 lip gloss formulas. Incredible, love the shade. I definitely don't regret buying this one with my points, but it was kind of a shame that, like, again, 2 of the things that I got in this haul that I spent my points on ended up at TJ Maxx, but this one I am super happy to have in my collection. The very last thing would be this Morphe and Jeffree Star brush collection. So this was his first edition. He did come out with a second edition. First off, I love this bag. I definitely have used this several times to travel to keep my brushes in and my sponges, which is nice so they don't get too smushed. And I actually really love Morphe brushes. And after I bought this set, where I live, one of the several malls near me opened up a Morphe store, which was amazing. So now I have a lot more Morphe brushes in my collection, but this was an awesome set. I love the packaging. The packaging of his second edition I didn't like as much. I think this is really nice. So I love all of these brushes. This is the JS2. I use this every single day to blend out my blush and bronzer if it's looking a little harsh. Then you've got the JS3, which is nice if you are trying to blend out concealer under your eyes, apply corrector, do a little like precise contour. The JS1, I think he's used for foundation, but I actually love this with loose powder because this is so dense. It does a great job of packing loose powder onto my face without making a big mess, because most of the time if you use loose powder with a brush, it goes everywhere. This does a great job. It's great with pressed powder too. It helps like really pack on the coverage, but I was really impressed with this when I used it with loose powder. So I definitely love that brush. Then we've got this double-ended brow brush, which is a JS7. I love a double-ended brow brush. So it's got the angled brush and the spoolie, super helpful, great quality. Then we've got the JS4 highlighter brush, perfect for applying highlight to the cheekbones. And we've got two eyeshadow brushes, JS6, JS5. The 6 I've used as my crease brush. The 5 I used as my transition color brush. And if you guys can see these, they're a little frayed and they just look a little dry. And I think that that's just because they're more natural hair brushes. I find that with like my Sigma brushes, my MAC brushes, and my Morphe brushes, when they are these white natural hair brushes, they just get a little dry and a little scratchy. These aren't too scratchy yet, but I was bummed by that, but it's just because they're this white hair. These pink hair brushes, I have no issues with. They're super soft. I've washed them several times and I have no complaints. So I am really happy with this set overall. I think he did a great job of including some good staple face and eye brushes. I definitely recommend Morphe brushes. I think they are good quality for the price and they have a lot of unique shapes. So definitely recommend this set. So that is everything that I got with my 4,000 points from Ulta, and those are my thoughts on all the products. I am actually very happy with everything, except I could have done without the shadows in my life. This one just okay. This one I actually regret buying. But I would love to know your all's thoughts on these products in the comments down below, and I would love to know what would you like to use your points on. What do you think would be most worth the points? Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.